Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Kate Robbins. I'm a student at the University of Denver.
Perfect, Katie. What kind of event are we at today?
So we are at the La Raza Youth Conference, and it's to basically educate students about immigration reform and about the Latino population and community, and how they're just being really underrepresented.
What do you think about immigration reform?
I think that America has so much to offer. We're a country, based on freedom and liberty and getting people opportunities, basically. And I think we're totally going against our values if we don't support immigration reform. We shouldn't close off our borders because by opening them, that's how America started. And so it doesn't make any sense to discriminate. Everyone who works, and especially the youth, because they come to try to get an education and they're denied. And that's just really sad, I think.
Speaking about education, do you know what the DREAM Act is? Mm-hmm. What is that?
I'm familiar with it. It's allowing kids to get in-state tuition, right? To allow immigrant children to get in-state tuition, and they'll get a temporary residency, which then they can apply for a permanent residency. And so basically it would allow kids who are serious about education to gain citizenship.
What do you think about what's going on in Arizona? First, can you tell us what is going on in Arizona?
Yeah, well, they just passed a law that I think any police officers can just stop anyone they see who looks like a suspicious immigrant. So they can just totally racially profile. And also, I think it was Arizona where 800 police officers were sent out to knock on people's doors and to ask for their papers. So they were invading, these people who weren't doing anything wrong. They were just invading their homes and asking to see their documentation, and a lot of people didn't. A lot of people were illegal and didn't have documentation, and they got deported.
Or were these people doing anything?
Nope, they were sitting in their house, eating dinner, watching TV, whatever. They weren't even breaking the law.
They weren't drinking, or they weren't disturbing the peace?
Nope.
So what
they targeted communities that they thought had high populations of illegal immigrants.
So what you're saying is people came into other people's homes and knocked on the door and investigated other people?
Yep, for not doing anything wrong, though, aside from not having proper documentation.
Well, how do you think those are the principles that we were...
No, and I understand the necessity of them being documented, because everyone who's living in America, we should know who's living here so that we can better represent America as a whole. But I think that they should be legal, and we should have steps that they can get legal to be legalized. But right now, it's just if they went through the system, they would be deported.
Well, so why don't they just get in line?
Because it takes forever.
What do you mean it takes forever? You mean you just don't get in line for 10 minutes and get it done?
No, it takes such a long time. There's all these processes you have to do, passing this test. I actually have a neighbor, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I have a neighbor who's Colombian, and she's documented, but as a temporary resident, because in order to gain residency, you have to take this test. And she's a smart woman. I mean, she actually went to college. She's a college-educated woman, and she said she took the test. She tried to take a practice test, and it was almost impossible.
I've heard that it can take up to 14 years.
Yeah, I've seen it with this Colombian woman. It's taken her so long, and she's been living here for 20 years, and she still is not a citizen.
Well, so what do you have? I don't understand why you're here. What do you have to gain or to lose by helping immigrants?
I have America to make aware and to show that all Americans aren't these hard-headed fools who don't know really anything. They don't. I think the problem with America is we're not very personal. We don't take stories and certain personal situations into account. It's just basically this black and white view, and it should be so much more personal than that. There's so many stories and so much emotion behind these people's lives and their stories that we should hear them and we should listen.
Well, so to kind of close our interview, do you have any parting thoughts, any recommendations for other young people like yourself?
I hope that we can just realized what America has to offer, and that we are a community and a country that really should accept people for who they are and to let them in, and we can learn from them too. It's not like they're reaping everything America is. We can learn a lot from them, and we can, if by opening our doors we open our minds. That might sound cliche, but I think that's a really important part of immigration.
So what you're saying, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what you're saying is that we can learn from the other culture, and obviously they'll learn from ours.
And by closing ourselves off, that's totally not the right way to go. We need to open our minds to the way other people live.
Well, great. I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I really appreciate the interview. I know it's not easy to do in a school full of people, but I really admire you.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope we see more leadership.
I hope so too. I want to just tell all the young people out there that getting involved is the best thing you can do. You learn so much about people, and you can learn a lot by just getting involved.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for the interview, and I'm going to look to you for some leadership. I have a lot to learn too.
Awesome. Sounds good.